Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Happy Sunday. In today's video, we'll be doing a 4-week rebalance on my client's nails. Now for the design, she is going for more of a milky white base and red French tips. So here I'm debulking just a little bit and then taking off her previous red polish, gel polish that is. I am using my medium tungsten removal bit. Love using this bit so far. It is doable. It does not have a heat spike or anything, and it does have a safety tip, so it's easy to use and beginner friendly. And to speed up my removal process or debulking process, I like to use my e-file between 20 to 25,000 RPMs at a time. Sometimes I'll even go all the way to 30,000 RPMs. And I'm using my e-file to file the nails in a downward motion all the way down to the free edge of the nail, gently gliding across the entire nail without staying in one place for too long. We don't want to create friction and cause the nail to heat up. So we want to make sure we're making light tapping motions. Once we get to the cuticle area, we want to go around the cuticle in light tapping motions in a circular motion. For the thumb right here, she had a little bit of separation. For this client, her nails grows downward. I usually sculpt her nail, but she does not come in as often as my other clients do. And when I do get her in, sometimes a squeeze in or a last minute appointment. So I will use tips on her from time to time. So these are tips, and this is a second time doing a design on them. So once I am done debulking and we lay fresh acrylic, I will be flipping her hands over to debulk from underneath, as well as to take up her natural nails from the free edge of her nail. So yeah, so I'm just cutting them down just a little bit. We decided to cut them down after removing the previous color. Here I'm pushing her cuticles back just a tiny bit. For this client, she has really hard cuticles. Cuticle oil is going to be your best friend. So if you have hard cuticles that grows down on your natural nails, you want to make sure you're using cuticle oil, especially around this time. So I'm going in with my medium barrel bit to exfoliate the new growth area, and then I'll be going in with my 180 grit nail file to take up the existing polish that is on her cute new growth right here, just to make sure I'm not creating any rings of fire. I did not use my tungsten removal bit or my barrel bit to remove it. Using a 180 grit nail file is the safest way to remove this color. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm making sure I am not touching her skin. I'm using my hand file in a light tapping motion as well, and I'm debulking the cuticle area, making sure it's nice and flush. That way, once you apply that new acrylic, they'll look like brand new nails, like you just put on a fresh set of tips. Making sure I'm brushing in between. I know sometimes I don't leave the clips of me brushing the dust off the nails, but for this one, I say, you know what, just put a little bit in there every so often, because I don't want the videos to be so repetitive. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comment section. Yeah, here I'm going ahead to do the same, and we're gonna just make sure her shape is there. That way I have a guide to work with once I start laying her acrylic. Once I am done with shaping her nails, I will be going in with that medium barrel bit in a reverse motion, just to ensure that all that dead skin is off her new growth area. Then we'll go straight in with or prep. So here I'm going in with alcohol mixed with acetone to cleanse the nails of any dust and debris, as well as dehydrate. And then going in with my Young Nail Protein Bond. If you're new here, I like to use a rub base on my acrylic clients as well. And I'm just putting it at I'm only applying it at the new growth area, scrubbing it in the nail plate before curing it for 60 seconds. Because I'm using a more pigmented acrylic, I am going in with a bead of clear acrylic, and I like to use a Young Nail system. So I'll be using their Speed Clear acrylic and monomer, and their frosted pink is in their speed fast dry setting as well. So once I'm done capping it with the clear bead acrylic, I'll be using a one bead method to go over an entire nail to cover the nail with that frosted pink. So now that her nails are nice and capped, I'm going in with a bead of acrylic. My size brush that I'm using is a number 18, and I'm making sure I'm placing the acrylic closest to the cuticle. I'm sealing it in the cuticle area, and then I'm using the middle of my brush to pat it down the entire nail. Now I think I cut this pinky a little bit shorter, so I'm just extending the length just a little bit by playing around with the acrylic, drying it out, and using the side of my brush to shape it. So here I am using the tip of my brush to lightly push the acrylic in the cuticle area, making sure it's nice and sealed and it's not touching our skin. Then I use the middle of my brush to shape the acrylic, as well as dry any excess monomer out of the acrylic. That way it's a little bit more manageable and you're able to play around with it just a little bit longer. Sometimes my suite can be hot, sometimes it could be cold. You never know. We work in a small space, but it's been so cold here. I am not even complaining because New York just got 13 inches, and Lord knows I don't want it here. So I will deal with the cold. I will bundle up and I'll go to work. So yeah, I'm making sure I am drying out any excess monomer that will prevent me from having control of my bead of acrylic. Here I'm going ahead to do the same thing with the tip of my brush, seal that cuticle area while using the middle of my brush to pat the acrylic from side to side down the entire nail until I get to the free edge. If I have any excess monomer or acrylic should say, I'll go ahead and use the tip of my brush to swipe it away and put it on the paper towel. Here I am going in with my first bead, and I'm not perfecting this one because I am going in with a second bead. You may look at it and say, oh, well, she didn't need one more bead of acrylic. My client's nail grows downwards. So I have to create structure on top. That way, when I go in to file away product from the sidewalls and underneath, I still have the structure on top that I need to sustain 4-week growth. This client sometimes even go up to 7, 8 weeks. I don't know how she does it, guys, but she does it. It's not recommended. I won't ever tell her to do it, but sometimes she just, you know, hang in there with her sets. So yeah, here I'm going ahead to make sure it's nice and straight. And if you guys look on the side of the nail, you guys will see a little bit of bulkiness. Once I go in, okay, here we go. We're going in with the fine carbide bit now. Once I smooth out the entire nail or refine or finish file, I'll go ahead on the side of the nail to take away product, debulking. So this is how I debulk my clients' nails. It's easier for some people just to go ahead and soak it off and start over. I don't like to soak my clients' nails if I don't have to. And if I don't have to touch their natural nails, I won't. So if they come in with a set that is not lifting and I could restructure them or rebalance them, that's what I will do. So for most of my clients, I do a lot of restructuring, a lot of rebalancing to make it work for them and myself. And this helps me grow their natural nails out as well. This client don't really care to grow her natural nails out, so we're doing what works for her while maintaining my style of work. So yeah. So once I'm done finish filing the surface of the nail, I'll go on the side of the nail, debulk from one side to the opposite side if I need to turn the client hands towards me, just so I'm seeing what I'm doing without touching the tip of their finger. Then that's what I will do. Here I am going ahead to take this length down a little bit. Just by looking at it, I could tell that it was longer than the other nails. Going ahead to debulk again from the sides and going on the opposite side, making sure they are the same width and length, of course. And then making sure the cuticle area is nice and sealed, flipping our hands over to debulk from underneath as well. And then once I'm done with this portion, with this part of the debulking, I'll go in with my 180 grit nail file just to make sure everything is nice and straight. And if you could see the middle finger here, you could tell that it's nice and straight already just by debulking, and there's no bulkiness to the nail. Here I'm finished filing the sides of the nail, making sure I don't have any ridges. And yeah, so this is how I debulk. Quick and fast, easy. I want to say I laid this within 45 minutes. This whole step between 45 minutes. You know what slowed me down? Them French tips. As much as how I do them French tips, every week I could lay the acrylic, finish file within 45 minutes to an hour. And once I get to the design, I slow down. Let it be a French tip. It slowed me down completely. Or I just stop talking. Like, don't talk to me. I'm working. But yeah. So here I'm going ahead with the 180 grit nail file just to clean up the sides, and then I'll be going in with my 240 grit sanding band to finish file, making sure there's no ridges created from using the fine carbide bit. Then she'll go ahead and wash. Once you wash, we're gonna go in with D&D. I can't remember the color, but it's like a milky color, a milky polish, and I'll just use one coat of that. We'll go ahead for a full 60-second cure, then we'll go straight in with our red Frenchie. So the color is D&D Pearly Ice 862, and I'm just going over an entire nail with one coat of this color, and then I'll be going in with the Frenchies. I'm not sure why the camera was so shaky in this clip. I did buy a filter for my camera. I've been doing a little research because I hate when the exposure on the camera just get bright, and it's because of my overhead light that I have. So I got a filter for my camera. It should be here between tomorrow or which would be Monday or Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to using that whenever I'm recording my tutorials. So yeah, I'm just finishing up the coat over entire nail. Loving how it's looking so far. I'll go ahead and let you guys finish watching, and I'll be back once we get to doing the top coat. done with our Frenchies, I'm going in with my Young Nail Stain Resistant Top Coat. I love using this product. I've been using it for some years now, guys. I use it on my polygel, hard gel clients, and my acrylic clients. Love, love, love. It does have an inhibition layer. So once it's done curing for 60 to 90 seconds, you want to make sure you spray down the nail or spray a lint-free wipe with alcohol and cleanse the nail of any inhibition layer. I like to go in with a second lint-free wipe and cleanse the skin around the nail. That prevents any allergic reaction. If you guys have made it this far in this video, thanks for hanging with your girl. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching.